space, the stars are others. We've traveled this way before, and there is much to be learned.
Well, that was pretty wonderful.
Yeah, I think so.
So there are a couple of my heroes in there. Carl Sagan, of course, but Neil deGrasse Tyson, who seems to have picked up Carl Sagan's mantle as the popularist of science.
Sure. And I forgot that even Bill Nye was in there, and you know they have another one that's on the site that has Jane Goodall. I mean, they're just loaded with really intelligent people that had a lot of positive and interesting things to say. I like the message of the video, the idea of the connectivity. And also what's really interesting to me is how things like math and science are universal for people. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
You know, gravity is gravity, physics is physics. It doesn't matter where you live, who you are, and there's not this kind of us and them divide until it starts getting put in people's heads.
Yeah. Well, I had another thought too, and Richard Feynman was in there. It was another one of my heroes, and you know, he's famous for many reasons, but for writing the Feynman lectures, which are considered one of the better, you know, undergraduate lectures on physics. And he's got a lecture in there that's about 60 pages long on how rainbows work.
Wow.
And it's like, here's the mathematics of it, here's the physics of it, here's how it all works. And you compare that to the Genesis story of, oh, the rainbows are there because God's not going to kill you because he made this promise.
Right.
You know, this is you know, one's a child's story and one's, you know, this is a deep understanding of this very cool and interesting phenomenon in nature, right? And how can you say, you know, this awe and wonder isn't over here, right?
Correct.
And how can you vote for the religion thing in this case, right? It makes no sense to me.
Well, right. I mean, it's like, what in the world is wrong with reality? I mean, what is it that's uninteresting about the real world and about the real universe?
Yes, it's
and about
infinitely more fascinating
what you really are.
than the religions portray it to be.
Yeah, I mean, what I really am is far more fascinating than something to be condemned. And I'd like to just show the Glorious Dawn video, just to squeeze that one in and before we take any calls.
Yeah.
And so if we could get Glorious Dawn queued up, that'd be great.
So we'll take callers after that. The number's on the screen. We've got a couple queued up already.
I'm not very good at singing songs, but here's a try. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. Space is filled with a network of wormholes. You might emerge somewhere else in space. Somewhere else in time. The sky calls to us. If we do not destroy ourselves, we will one day venture to the stars. A still glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise. A morning filled with 400 million suns. The rising of the Milky Way. The cosmos is full beyond measure. Elegant truths of exquisite interrelationships of the awesome machinery of nature. I believe our future depends powerfully on how well we understand this cosmos, in which we float like a mote of dust in the morning sky. But the brain does much more than just recollect. It intercompares, it synthesizes, it analyzes, it generates abstractions. The simplest thought, like the concept of the number one, has an elaborate logical underpinning. The brain has its own language for testing the structure and consistency of the world. A still more glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise. A morning filled with 400 billion suns. The rising of the Milky Way. The sky calls to us. If we do not destroy ourselves, we will one day venture to the stars. stretch out forever, or was there a limit? From the Big Bang to black holes, from dark matter to a possible big crunch, a moment of the universe today is full of strange sounding ideas.
How lucky we are to live in this time, the first moment in human history when we are, in fact, visiting other worlds. A still more glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise, a morning filled with 400 billion suns. The rising of the Milky Way. A still more glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise, a morning filled with 400 billion suns. The rising of the Milky Way. The surface of the Earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean. Recently we've waded a little way up, and the water seems inviting.
Another nice one.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing. I love Carl Sagan, and so glad that John Boswell is doing this.
Good deal. So that's Symphony of Science?
It is Symphony of Science, and like I said, I have on my notes.com, but I'm almost positive it's .org.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about the auto-tuning thing. I think it's become overdone already, but it's very tasteful. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did an excellent job. Just love the site.
Well, good deal. Well, good deal. Well, we have a couple callers lined up. What do you say we start taking callers?
Let's do it.
Okay. We'll switch to caller number 1. It is Derek from New Orleans. Hello.
Hello. Hey, guys. I just watch your show every week. Well, I try to watch on YouTube because I'm from New Orleans, but I'd say you guys do a good job. But my question is, I'm a philosophy major, and I study philosophy a lot, and I come across data study on chimpanzees that say they have morality, but it was kind of iffy. It says that they're stepping stones of morality, and that is our closest ancestor, of course. And this would come into conflict with Christianity, who says that only man has morality. And I was wondering if you know anything about the studies on chimpanzees, if they're conclusive, if they have morality or not.
What do you call morality?
What do I call morality?
Yeah.
It would be hard to define, but to me, it would be making a decision on right or wrong, regardless of consequences of any reward.
Okay.
It can't be instinctual. If it's an instinct for like an animal to care for its young, that can't be morality.
So you don't think wait, do human beings have an instinct to care for their young?
Yeah, but that's not. I don't consider that morality.
So if a mother doesn't care for her young, you don't consider that immoral? Like if she left it to die.
But you can't in separating animals from human beings, like a dog taking care of a puppy. A dog doesn't have morality. That can't be considered morality because it's an instinct.
But not all dogs take care of their puppies, and not all humans take care of their children.
Right, I get that.
So I guess I'm asking, what's the difference between a human caring for their child and a dog caring for its child?
What's the difference between a human caring?
Yeah, what do you think drives a mother to care for her child if it's not an instinctive response?
What do I think that it cares for him?
Yeah.
There's some science behind it. Well, I mean, another part of its evolution, the mammals need to take care of their young for us to get to where we are.
That's instinct.
Right.
So in humans, that's also instinct.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't say that all of our morality is instinct. I think there is.
I agree. I do think, though, that it is instincts that are derived from evolution that drive moral decisions.
Certainly. Certainly. We have certain hardwiring in our brain that makes us cringe at the thought of killing someone.
In my opinion,
or actively harming someone.
Morality is, you have, for example, in nature, some animals that do not live in groups. Those animals have no need for morality because they don't interact with other members of their group. As soon as an animal has to live in a group, it becomes imperative that that group figure out what the rules are going to be and work to enforce those rules. And they do. In nature, not every animal does what every other animal in the group wants it to do.
But see, the difference between here would be like a dog. I can train a dog to bite someone.
I can train a person to kill.
Right, but then there are human beings that have the capability to say, no, this is wrong, and dog wouldn't be able to do that.
I can train a dog to not jump on the couch, and when I'm out in the store, it will. Right?
If you train a pit bull to bite every single person, it's not going to have the morality to say no.
I'm just saying that dogs don't always do what they're trained automatically. They're not like robots.
It's pretty system response is pretty high.
I would say it's similar in people, though. I mean, culturization to me, when people are uncultured, I see that as like a high level of training where they don't even think about what they're doing or why.
Right.
Well, there's a number of aspects here, right? There's this whole idea of are you intelligent enough to make your own decisions? That's one aspect. There's the whole group. You know, are you adhering to the group's rules? And there's really sort of a culture in organizations that have social animals, right?
Correct.
There's the whole idea of reputation, right? Once you have animals that are smart enough to remember that you have done something, then you start having a reputation,
right.
And your actions have longer-term consequences, and so they become more important.
I always use the example of wolves, though. I remember watching a documentary where there was a pack of wolves, and one of the wolves, you have the alpha male and the alpha female that can mate. The rest of the pack does not mate. So when they were out hunting, there was one male that stayed behind. He tried to mate with the alpha female, and when the pack came back and caught him, they attacked him, but they just sort of let it at that. So it was sort of like a warning, I guess you'd call it.
Okay.
After
this particular study was what it was. They had one monkey in one cage and one monkey in the other. One monkey was chained up to electricity wires. If the first monkey went to grab food, it would electrocute the other monkey. The monkey saw this and would not eat.
I'm pretty sure rats will do that as well.
Wait, what?
I think rats do that as well.
Well, you know, I guess another component of our empathy, of our morality, is empathy.
Correct.
Right? Is understanding, projecting ourselves into the other person or the other being, right?
Right, but I mean, people have this idea that animals do not weigh consequences when they make a decision, and they do. I mean, that's
well,
why.
I think some animals do. I think it will come with the ability to reason, but I don't think a dog would do that. If you would disadvantage to a dog, I don't think you would.
A dog is a little bit weird because it's a domestic animal, but if you look at wolves, they do respond to the pack punishments and the pack regulations. And the wolf example I was using, when that one wolf kept trying to usurp the alpha male, but he kept doing it in a way that was unacceptable, and the pack kept attacking him. Finally, they chased him out of the territory, and they would not let him back into the pack.
Right.
But at one point, he came into the territory and challenged the alpha male, and none of the other animals in that pack stopped him. So I don't know what it was in their head that said this challenge is okay versus you're not allowed to come into the territory. But they allowed him to come back, challenge the alpha male, and then he actually won and became the alpha male. But here he was trying to do it the wrong way, and the pack enforced that as the wrong way. And then when he went about doing it the correct way, they allowed it. I don't know how to explain that, but it looks an awful lot like what people do.
Right. We talk about this a lot in philosophy. I don't think a wolf would ever do the thing with a monkey. I think monkeys have morality in some, but I don't think a dog do. I think it's kind of like a stepping stone. I am an atheist. But I just think that this whole morality argument is essential to kind of dethroning theism in a way. It's just like they think that only human beings have morality, and I don't think that's true. Well, I don't agree with you that wolves have morality.
Well,
I think all social animals have it.
I think the challenge here is trying to draw a line, right? There's a lot of things in the real world that are gray, you know, and I think that this is one of them. I think there are rudiments of that in a lot of animals, and I think social animals, but as you were saying, Tracy, are animals that kind of have to have that in order for things to work right. Another one is, you know, when is a person a human? That's another very gray thing, and we are never going to agree about, you know, from, you know, conception to, you know, 2 years old when the baby has some concept of itself. That's a big giant gray area, and certain people want to say, oh, this is black and white, and the line is right here, and I don't think you can do that with morality either. I think that those are both
I think the first question is to define it. To me, when something can understand rules and can understand behaviors that are acceptable, behaviors that aren't acceptable, and it